media trained you. That's controversial.
David, this song is too violent. You're talking about killing people?
Sack of bricks the second that judge slammed down a life sentence for Celeste's death. Shocker? Please. They literally expected, proving that talent and hustle can still take you from the bottom to the top. This young king from Houston, Texas, had made it out the struggle through viral success on platforms like SoundCloud and TikTok. Starting out making beats for Fortnite gaming videos before he realized he could turn that creative energy into a real career that would change his whole family situation for the better. His breakthrough track, Romantic Homicide, was some real authentic music recorded on his iPhone using BandLab, like most young artists do when they grinding in their bedroom studio. His sound was a wild cocktail, indie rock edge blended with R&B silk, alternative pop that cut deep, and dream pop vibes that floated you somewhere else entirely. The young king stacked over 3.88 million TikTok followers and clocked millions of streams every month. Proof his fan base was locked in and his music really tapped hearts across every demographic. But here's where things spun dark. Nobody missed the twisted irony that his biggest anthem was Romantic Homicide, and now, boom, his Tesla's chilling in an impound yard with a literal body stuffed inside. That eerie coincidence had folks from trap houses to penthouses whispering, was this art bleeding into reality, or the universe pulling its nastiest prank yet? LAPD's robbery homicide squad swooped in fast, knowing full well this case was about to blow up into a media feeding frenzy the second a celebrity's name got dragged into the fire. Investigation brings. These detectives handle the city's darkest crimes, and they knew straight up they were about to be dissected under a spotlight while scrambling to piece together what actually went down.
Him on, I checked him on Spotify, and on Spotify, the dude, the dude actually is like popping. 34 million monthly listeners. He has a song, 1.5 billion streams, Here With Me, 500 million, Feel It, and his biggest song, 1.6 billion views, is called Romantic Homicide.
When whispers started buzzing through the block and social media went nuclear, the first headlines played it soft, tiptoeing around the details. Cops made sure to stress that David was still on tour when the body turned up, not cuffed, not even officially stamped as a suspect. But please, like that was gonna stop the rumor mill. Just his name orbiting around something this grim was enough to send the internet into full meltdown mode, spawning wild theories, armchair investigations, and obsessive deep dives into every lyric he ever spit and every move he ever made. Twitter and TikTok morphed into bargain bin CSI, with wannabe detectives dragging up dusty posts, decoding captions, and acting like they'd cracked the Da Vinci Code.
Went crazy. TikTok viral, 1 million views overnight. I was like, oh yeah, we cooking, boy, we cooking.
Had been starving months to see. Now every ounce of his hard-earned success was drowning under a thundercloud, and all eyes were locked to see if he'd sink or crawl through. Making it even stickier, David had always flexed a wholesome vibe, talking faith and family values in interviews like some spiritual golden boy. That church kid image made these allegations cut even deeper, blindsiding fans who swore they knew him. Investigators zeroed in on who had access to the Tesla and when that corpse got planted. Word on the street was it had been parked on that Hollywood Hills strip for nearly a month before the tow, raising messy questions about timelines and suspects. The body's wrecked condition screamed it had been gone a while, but nailing down exactly what happened would take serious forensic grind, weeks, maybe months. And trust, nobody was ready for the curveball. This nightmare was just the opening act. It was about to unravel exploitation, power plays, and the tragic story of a young girl stolen too soon. The entire game flipped September 17, 2025, when the LA County Medical Examiner finally pulled receipts, dental records, and forensic analysis, proving the remains were 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. That bombshell shattered the community, because this wasn't some faceless case anymore. This was a daughter, a friend, a missing child her family had searched for over a year, now confirmed gone in the cruelest way. Their baby girl. Celeste wasn't just another missing persons case that gets filed away and forgotten about. This was a real young lady from the community who had dreams and people who loved her. Born around 2010, she had disappeared from Lake Elsinore, California on April 5th, 2024, when she was only 13 years old. An age when kids should be worried about homework and crushes, not becoming victims of predators who see
canceled the remaining dates on his U.S. tour amid the Celeste Rivas Hernandez investigation.
60 miles out from LA is the kind of place families move when they want to dodge city chaos and raise kids somewhere they can actually ride bikes without a parent pacing the block. Neighbors wave, kids play outside, and when one teen disappears, the loss hits everybody like family. The sheriff's department had Celeste's case logged, but let's be real, missing teens barely get traction unless the media goes full blast. Thousands vanish every year, and most never make it past a 2-minute local news blurb. Folks who knew Celeste remembered her as just a normal girl with big curly hair, seen strolling to school, living her teenage years the way she should have been allowed to. Her family described her as a loving daughter, her absence carving a bigger hole in their hearts every single day. After officials confirmed the ID, the family broke their silence, crushed, saying their worst fears had finally been made real. They insisted they had no clue where she'd gone after she vanished and knew nothing about any ties between Celeste and David, a detail that would get real important once darker truths started bubbling up. Detectives began digging through her last months, pulling her digital footprint, because every teen leaves receipts online. And that's when things went from tragic to sinister. Remember that Tesla frunk? The discovery was clarified Celeste's body bag, torn apart details surfacing piece by piece. Then her mom dropped a nuke. Celeste had once mentioned having a boyfriend named David before she disappeared. And suddenly, everyone's ears perked up because David's legal name is David Anthony Burke. That's not exactly a dot you can ignore, even if lawyers called it circumstantial. Then came the jaw dropper. Both Celeste and David rocked matching tattoos on their right index fingers. At first glance, sure, Rihanna made the design famous in 2008, and celebs like Lindsay Lohan and Lily Allen copied it, so maybe coincidence. But when you factor in timing, placement, and all the other shadows creeping around this story, it screamed connection. Hers inked in red, his in black, but otherwise identical. Digital forensics teams raided devices, combing through deleted DMs and archived posts, piecing together a picture way darker than anyone wanted to see. What emerged was a disturbing power dynamic dripping with red flags. Reports suggested Celeste first linked with David on social media when she was 12 or 13, while he was already 17, 18. And just like that, the whispers turned into the ugliest word of all: grooming. Inappropriate contact with a minor. These reports came from multiple sources, including Celeste's former teacher at Lakeland Village Middle School, who confirmed that the student had talked about meeting the singer online. Then the investigation took an even darker turn when some real disturbing evidence surfaced in the form of music that David had recorded. A demo track called Celeste that David had made in December 2023 got leaked online. And when people heard those lyrics, it sent chills through everybody following this case, because the content was way too specific to be coincidence. The song had explicit references to someone named Celeste with lyrics that described intimate details suggesting they had a close relationship. Lines like, "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest, and I'm obsessed," painted a picture of someone who was fixated on this person in a way that went beyond normal artistic expression or healthy romantic interest. The timing of when this song was recorded, December 2023, just months before Celeste disappeared in April 2024, raised serious questions about what was happening between.
That is a big question at this point, Ashley. What we do know is that the car was impounded on the 5th of September. The police discovered the body in the Tesla on the 8th of September.
September 18th, 2025, things hit turbo when LAPD stormed a Hollywood Hills pad tied to David and dropped a search warrant like it was primetime TV. The spot, sitting pretty on Diney Drive, technically belonged to some businessman named Midan Triunovich, but it was being rented out by David's manager Josh Marshall through Interscope Records. Now here's the kicker, it was barely 500 feet from where that cursed Tesla got ditched. Coincidence? Please. Detectives camped out for hours, hauling out computers, electronics, and bag after bag of evidence stacked for forensic deep dives. They even ran tests on drains and surfaces, hunting for blood traces, though those results are still locked away tight. But the more they dug, the uglier the picture got. This case wasn't smelling like a one-off tragedy anymore. It was starting to reek of a bigger pattern, with grooming and exploitation threads hinting at something way darker lurking underneath the surface. Old social posts and dusty videos that nobody cared about before suddenly flipped into smoking gun evidence, exposing sketchy interactions between David and young fans that screamed blurred boundaries. The creepiest find? A live stream from February 2024 where Celeste allegedly called David out with accusations before the feed mysteriously cut and the recordings conveniently vanished. Multiple people watched it happen, but nobody raised a flag, proof of how easy it is for red alerts to get shrugged off when protecting vulnerable kids should be priority number one. Suddenly, this wasn't just Celeste's tragedy, it was a spotlight on the darker rot in the music industry, where starstruck teens can be exploited by artists flexing influence they should never have over admirers. Her case became bigger than one headline. It turned into a mirror reflecting systemic failures that leave young fans wide open to manipulation by the very people they idolize. Meanwhile, David's legal squad rushed to spin control, dropping statements about him cooperating with authorities while staying tight-lipped on anything that might tangle with the investigation. But that silence
canceled the remaining dates on his U.S. tour amid the Celeste Rivas Hernandez investigation. Sources tell TMZ that David's camp made the decision to cancel the remaining 2 shows on Thursday.
Machine wasted no time ghosting David once the storm hit. Crocs, Hollister, gone. His label slammed the brakes on promo, too, because these corporations know brand image bleeds faster than anything when tied to scandal. And when the receipts about Celeste Rivas Hernandez dropped, linking straight back to David, it didn't just rattle fans, it exposed the whole industry, sparking a reckoning about how fame can be weaponized against the young and vulnerable. This wasn't just a case anymore. It became a way-up siren, shaking boardrooms and neighborhoods alike, demanding answers about how predators slide unchecked under the cover of celebrity glow. The fallout on David's career? Swift. Savage. Street-style brutal. By September 19, 2025, every U.S. state was axed. Sold-out spots like the Warfield in San Francisco and the Greek in L.A. evaporated overnight. These weren't small gigs. They were heavy money milestones, years of grind flushed because of allegations too loud to ignore. The dominoes kept falling overseas, too. European and UK shows erased from ticket sites one after another, collapsing what was meant to be his breakout world tour. Instead of leveling up to global icon, David was officially the corporate suits actually moved faster than the music execs when it came to cutting ties. Crocs and Hollister, yeah, the same brands that had David headlining their shiny new Dream Drop campaign just days before the scandal detonated, started scrubbing him from ads like he never even existed. Their official statement was all polished PR. We have removed campaign content featuring David while the investigation continues. Translation? We're up before this tanks our sales. That's how the corporate game runs when allegations drop. They guard the brand, not the artist. Reputation is currency, and no one's torture.
The medical examiner has said that the cause of death is deferred, meaning they have not been able to figure it out at this point, and there's going to be further toxicology testing.
The brakes on withered promotions. Even the deluxe edition rollout, planned to ride the tour's hype wave, got tossed in the freezer. Translation again, his recording career just got shoved on ice, waiting to see if the whole thing melts or burns. Meanwhile, LAPD's. Want me to keep going from there? Picking up with LAPD's next move, so this flow. LAPD's robbery homicide squad took the wheel, moving with the kind of precision and grind reserved for the city's darkest cases. Social media warriors screamed for handcuffs yesterday, but cops kept repeating the same line. David hadn't been formally tagged as a suspect, and they were building this case brick by brick. That calm,
Somebody-
methodical
I'ma
pace
say
drove
this
the
right now.
internet
He didn't
wild.
kill anybody,
Everybody
bro.
wanted
He
a
didn't kill
perp
anybody.
walk,
There's no
not
way.
patience.
There's no way he's been on
But
tour.
seasoned
He didn't
detectives
kill
know the game. Rush and arrest without airtight evidence, and you hand the defense a golden ticket to walk free. These investigators weren't just solving a crime. They were building something bulletproof to survive the spotlight of a high-profile trial. Legal analysts watching from the sidelines kept hammering the same point. The challenges here were brutal, and one wrong move could blow the whole thing apart. Celeste's remains were so far gone that pinning down a cause of death meant weeks, maybe months, of